What's up? Welcome to the Benchwarmer channel. This is the Benchwarmer Podcast. My name is Eric. He hate me 702. Of course, we got the guy rocking two different teams today.
Absolutely. I checked out of football maybe a while ago. It's baseball time. Sam or Keldrock over in the East.
And down below,
Jeremy with the G, and that's the Little League Braves.
where?
The Little League Braves.
Yeah, they keep signing Braves players.
Oh,
Yeah,
Throwing
Jeremy's a Braves
shade.
fan. I forgot about that.
Throwing shade. Okay.
Hey, we're also little Yankees. Take it easy.
We're also little Yankees. Let me see. Where did I just download that? That works.
What are you looking for?
His book title. Okay,
Oh.
so today we have a guest. He wrote a book about history of fantasy sports. He likes to talk sports. He hit us up on Twitter. If you have a chance, please go check out his book. That is his book right there up on the screen. You can get it at Amazon. And if you do get it, make sure you leave a review. So we're going to bring him in now and let him talk and introduce himself. Larry, come on down. How you doing, buddy?
Good, guys. How are you?
Good.
I just
Doing
want to
good.
correct one thing. One thing you just said, I want to correct. You said buy the book and leave a review. Now, if you hate the book, don't leave a review.
Okay.
Good
That's
correct.
correct.
Yeah.
Only good reviews. Only good reviews.
Right. You just put 5 stars before you read it. That's the safest thing.
Sounds good. So tell us a little bit about your book. What made you write the book?
What made me write the book is that I've played fantasy for more than 30 years. I know a lot of people in the industry because I'm in the 2 baseball experts leagues, Tout Wars and Labor, and I look around at this phenomenon. Some people had ideas for games years ago, and it's evolved into millions and millions of people playing all over the world. Everything from fantasy baseball and fantasy football to fantasy wakeboarding, cricket, Iditarod, fantasy everything. You got news services, stat services, 24/7 Sirius XM radio show. You watch an NFL game, they got fantasy stats. And I've wondered for a long time, how did this all happen? Nobody knows. Nobody's ever told the story. Nobody's ever written a book about it. You can research a little bit here and there, but nobody knows. So I've just thought for a long time, somebody should write a book about this. And I did. And when I started, the idea was I'm going to write a book called The History of Fantasy Sports, tell who did what, when, how it all happened. When I started getting into it, I actually ended up working 18 months full-time work, researching, interviewing dozens of people, and writing. When I started, very early on, I started to hear and read stories that were fascinating. And some were inspirational, some would bring a tear to my eye. And I realized early on, okay, if I just write the history of fantasy sports, I'll get the job done. It'll also come off as a very boring research paper. But by incorporating the stories of all these people that I was hearing, it would be very interesting. And so that's where I got the subtitle of the book. The subtitle is, "And the Stories of the People Who Made It Happen." And so I incorporate the stories, and it's made the book fascinating, easy to read, and I'm not just saying that. That's what the reviews are saying. Yes, that's it in a nutshell.
That is interesting.
There's fantasy wakeboarding?
There's fantasy Iditarod?
There's fantasy everything.
Curling, sumo wrestling. I kind of, as I was doing all the research, I kind of made a list every time I heard of something new. And in one part of the book, I list, here's every fantasy game I've come across in this research, but I'm sure this list isn't even complete. And there's more than 50 items in that list.
Holy, what?
Yeah.
So,
If you really think about it, there's fantasy esports. How do you do that?
Fantasy what?
I've seen it in Clash Royale.
Fantasy esports, when they play the video games?
Oh,
Yeah, I've seen it in Clash Royale.
yeah, I'm not even sure how they do that.
Yeah, so.
I do know how they do Fantasy Congress.
Wait,
I've
fantasy
heard
what?
of that.
Fantasy Congress, yeah, nobody's heard of this stuff. I mean, Fantasy Congress, Okay, I can pick Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ted Cruz, and you can have Liz Warren. And every time somebody speaks on the floor, we get a point. If they co-sponsor a bill, we get points. And we get bonus points if they vote against their own party for a bill.
What?
Yep.
Do we get
Now,
points?
this is not the most popular fantasy sport, fantasy game in the world, and not a lot of people playing, but there is Fantasy Congress. And where it's most popular is actually high school civics classes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Learning about it, why not make it a game?
Well, yeah, they're high school classes, learn about civics. Good way to do it.
That is interesting. I did not even know about 90%.
Yeah.
And you learned all this researching it, so you didn't know going in.
No, I knew nothing. I mean, people don't know this stuff. Like Paul Charchian was the head of the Fantasy Sports Trade Association for 12 years. He's been in the industry his whole life. And he read the book and he said, I didn't know most of this stuff. It's like, yeah, I didn't know anything. I knew hardly anything about it. And when I started, I thought it was something I could knock out in 3 or 4 months, which turned out to be crazy wrong. As I said, it took 18 months of full-time work. But what kept me going is I would just keep hearing this stuff. And I knew, like, oh my God, like, this is amazing. This is so interesting, and nobody knows this stuff. That kept me going because I knew the book would be great. And, the reviews are fantastic. And not because I did something great, but just because all these stories are amazing. There's a guy, I'll give you one. I mean, there's lots of good ones, a lot of funny stuff too, but one of the better ones. The book kind of goes from, the precursors of fantasy sports, the invention and spread of fantasy football, the invention and spread of fantasy baseball, the first commercial games, news services, stat services, through everything. There's like different chapters for everything, right through more modern things like daily fantasy sports, worldwide expansion. But one of some of the precursors to fantasy sports were APA and Stratomatic, which, if you don't know, they're board games based on major league players or NFL players' real statistics, but from prior seasons. Whereas, what I call modern fantasy sports is based on statistics that have not occurred yet. So we're going to draft baseball teams now. We don't know what they're going to do this year. But anyway, there's a lot of APA and Stratomatic leagues where people have been playing together since high school or college for years. And there's one league, an APA baseball league, where a guy, after many years in the league, a guy developed ALS. And they thought he'd have to stop playing. But his wife said, if you want to keep playing, I'll do whatever I have to do so you can keep playing APA. So she would go to the games with him. She'd roll the dice. He would tell her what moves to make. And they did this for 3 years. The third year, his condition had gotten to the point where he could only communicate through an eye reader and a computer, and his wife could read his lips. In that condition, his team came from 2 runs behind in extra innings to win his first ever APA World Series championship after 39 years in the league.
Wow.
And everyone started crying.
Wow.
That's wild.
I actually just purchased the book. It should be here on Tuesday. So
buy the book while we're doing this.
That's what I was doing while he was talking about it. I was just like, let me go look it up, this and this and this. And yeah, just here you go. So everybody knows. Just purchased, estimated delivery Monday.
You'll bring it with you while you're traveling, right?
I definitely am going to. You know this.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's actually in the book, that story is in the book. And I actually have the link. There's a link that I show in the book where you can look up. There was a story written about that in their local newspaper, and the link is in there.
Nice. Sam or Jeremy, do you have any questions for him?
So when you were doing these fantasy stuff, were you also talking to the individuals in these leagues and doing like, you see all these like crazy punishments and stuff like that. Like, do you dedicate like a section to like how they do that kind of stuff too, or not really?
No, not really. No, it's more about like the entrepreneurs that built the industry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But what's interesting about the punishment thing, like I know Matthew Berry wrote a book. I think he's got a lot of stuff like punishments and stuff. One thing that is interesting about the punishments, though, that dates back to the very first ever fantasy football league. 1963 was the very first fantasy football league, and they had a punishment for the loser. The guy who started that league, he carved out like a little statue or something with a dunce cap on the top, and the loser had to display that in his house for a year.
Oh my God!
So it's really interesting that tradition goes back to the first ever fantasy football league.
Yeah, that does not surprise me at all.
No, that kind of reminds. Have you ever seen the show The League? That's what I think of too now with that.
Yes.
Because they had the punishment they established later was a loser trophy that you had to display for the entire year until the next season.
Right, same thing.
That's what that made me think of.
Right, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that show. It's mentioned like really briefly in the book. There's one chapter is about the first magazines, books. Then you get to radio shows, TV shows. In fact, I know one of you is a Falcons fan, right? And this is not that fascinating, but the very first fantasy sports radio show, Lenny Melnick and Erwin Zwilling did it, and Lenny, I interviewed like dozens of people at length, and Lenny sent me a recording of his first radio show, and one of the first ever questions was, who's going to be the quarterback of the Falcons this year? I can't remember who they were off the top of my head, but there were like two guys competing, and they didn't know who was going to be the starting quarterback. So that was one of the first ever questions.
Always has to be them sometimes before they got the longevity of Vic and Ryan. Yeah.
So Lenny owned a box company in Long Island. His company made boxes. And when they started this radio show, the studio was about 15 minutes away from his company. And back then, not a lot of people had an 800 number. So Lenny wanted to have an 800 number available for his radio show to make it easier for people to call. So what he would do is when he left his office, he would forward the 800 number to the radio station. And after the radio show, on the way home, he'd stop at his office and remove the call forwarding. One night, he forgot to go back to the office. So the next morning, the morning show is getting calls like, Joe from Staten Island, you're on the air. Yeah, where the hell are my boxes?
That's one way to get on the air.
Easy way to get in the air. Easy way.
Yeah.
And make sure you guys go and check out his book. It is on Amazon Prime. Make sure if you leave a review, it's only 5. Are you coming, Lola? Are you going to join the show today? Okay.
It's so good the dogs wanted to break in and go get a copy too.
Yeah, that's exactly what the dogs want to do.
Yeah, it's available on most major booksellers' websites, ebook and paperback. Amazon's easy, and Amazon's where you can see all the reviews and more details about it.
Yeah,
it's always available on Kindle too.
Quite a bit reviews on there.
But
mostly
I'm an old
5 stars.
Yeah, I'm an old school guy. I like the paperback. I like having the actual thing.
Well, unfortunately, with digital, they could take it away at any point because you legally don't own it, which is really annoying.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah. All right, Jeremy said he'll be right back. Okay, so we'll go ahead at the end of the show or before he gets off, we'll go ahead and show you guys where his book's at again, but let me show you guys what it looks like. So history of fantasy sports and the stories of the people who made it happen. So make sure you go and check that out. Wherever you want to purchase. The real
question though is, how is your fantasy teams?
Are they good?
Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at baseball and football. I used to play basketball. I gave that up a long time ago. It's too much. I mean, I like it, but it's just too much, especially when the season, it overlaps with the other seasons.
Yeah. It's not easy with that one in the middle.
Yeah, we have neither me or him are really good at this. So yeah.
I'm pretty sure I came in last in our fantasy football.
Yeah, I don't know. We got destroyed. So, all right. Were there any challenges in covering the history of sports, given how much it changed over time?
Well, the challenge was I'm researching things from years ago, and I'm like interviewing people and asking them to try to remember things that happened 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So that was a challenge. And then I would get conflicting stories. I did most of my interviews by Zoom, and I would record it, and then I would play it back to get the information that I needed. And watching myself interviewing these people on Zoom, sometimes I looked like I was a detective or a lawyer doing a deposition. I'd say, so, you just told me X, Y, and Z, but an article 20 years ago, I read that you said A, B, and C. So were you lying then or you lying now?
Got you.
It's kind of like that. So, yeah. And the other, like I would research something and I would learn things, and it would send me down 4 more rabbit holes. And it took 18 months. As I said, I could have spent another 3 years on it if I'd wanted to.
I can imagine, because it's not like other things that like people research and stuff where there's a lot of factual evidence or stuff like that. Most of it is word of mouth to start, right?
Yeah. Well, there were a fair number of articles and that I could dig up. There's a website, newspapers.com, where you can like look for topics, and so I did get a lot of information from that sort of thing, and a lot of people do remember things, told me some really good stories, and told me about what they did.
Interesting, very, very interesting. All right. What?
No, I was just saying something that you would not expect. Okay, I got a book about the history of fantasy sports, 300 pages about the history of fantasy sports. Who would ever in a million years think that Adrian Peterson, the backup running back from the Bears, not the great Adrian Peterson from the Vikings, the backup running back from the Bears is mentioned twice in this book? Who would ever think that would have happened? That's because basically the first reason he's mentioned is John Hanson. I think it was John Hanson, one of the first NFL show that got on Sirius XM radio. One of their first shows, they booked Adrian Peterson, and they thought that was fantastic. But after talking to the guy for like 30 seconds or a minute, they realized they had the wrong Adrian Peterson. And the other reason he's mentioned in the book is when they first started having the internet and stat services, and you could start to update statistics every couple of minutes. The Vikings and Bears were playing, so you had 2 running backs named Adrian Peterson in the game, and that made the stat service go kablooey. It stopped working for like 45 minutes because it was not prepared to handle that. And the guy that told me the story, Jim Serra, ran one of the first websites, and he said when that happened, he had like irate customers that couldn't handle not getting their stats updated for 45 minutes. He started getting emails, and the email started like, "Hey, just to let you know, your stats haven't updated in 3 minutes." And then they got progressively more angry to the point of like, I hope you get cancer. I hope your entire family gets cancer. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to start a class action lawsuit, because they couldn't handle that their stats weren't updated for 45 minutes.
God, sports fans can be the worst.
Especially fantasy sports fans.
Yeah.
That is most people probably didn't even know that there was 2 Adrian Petersons at the same time in the league.
Right, right. Now, another really good story this guy told me, Jim Serra. He had he would have to monitor his website to make sure everything was working properly because sometimes something goes wrong. So one day he's watching a baseball game on TV and he's monitoring his website to make sure everything's okay. This is like in September, so fantasy football's already started. And the baseball game he's watching, there's an all-star pitcher pitching the game, and Sarah knows that this pitcher happens to be in one of the fantasy football leagues. So in about the seventh inning, the pitcher gets taken out of the game, leaves the game, heads for the dugout, and within like a minute, before he'd even have time to barely get into the locker room, and certainly before he'd take a shower, Sarah noticed this guy made a move for his fantasy football team.
Wow. That's crazy. That is the way fantasy has evolved and become such a major topic in every sport conversation that you have. At some point in time, there's fantasy that gets brought up, it seems like. That is just insane in how it started.
You always got to talk about the fantasy implications literally in everything.
We really do.
Like
all right, so
podcast.
We're going to get into some topics that we have. Larry, you're more than welcome to stay as long as you want. First one we're going to get into is the AFC Championship game. Come on. Give me all the slack.
I think we need to let you start, Mr. Chiefs.
No, somebody tell me how the refs helped him, how we lost the game, how the refs lost the game. Somebody tell me that. Somebody explain to me.
You mean the catch that wasn't a catch? The catch
that okay. So it still would have been our ball.
The third down. Yeah, but it wouldn't have been in the spot that it was in. It would have been about 15 yards back.
Okay, we still would have scored.
It still wasn't a catch, no matter how you looked at it. The third down, that was actually a first down, which then turned into a fourth down.
Okay,
that was a first down after the fourth down. All I asked was you guys win one game without the refs' help, and you couldn't even do that. That's all I asked. You guys couldn't even do that. One game. The Eagles couldn't even do it. And the Eagles scored 55 points, and they couldn't win the game without the refs.
Hell, the refs almost gave them a touchdown.
I need the refs to stay on our side for this next game, so I'm okay with it.
Who do they pick, though? There's two teams that
they need to pick history.
Who writes the biggest check?
They need to ride with history. Patrick Mahomes will write the check. They need to ride the history. Saquon Barkley is giving me nightmares. Like I literally with that run against Washington, where I don't remember what quarter it was, but the defender grabbed him and he just spun him off of him. He was just like, he's in a mid sprint, spins around in a circle, and doesn't lose an inch of speed. That is literally some Tecmo Bowl type stuff or Madden. Not even like this year's Madden. That is like game day back in the early 2000s where you could juke people like crazy and cheat and glitch it. This was Saquon Barkley is giving me absolute nightmares. What were your guys' thoughts?
He might just be Bo Jackson. You never know.
Larry, what were your thoughts on the game, the Chiefs and the Bills? Did you happen to watch it?
Oh yeah, I watched it. I don't know about this ref thing. I don't really have an opinion on the refs helping the Chiefs or not. What I'm thinking about right now, I'm going back to the previous game. I'm thinking about Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
What a long offseason it's going to be for Mark Andrews. And I actually did a little poll on Twitter, and I asked people if Andrews catches the 2-point conversion, what happens next? The Bills win in regulation, the Bills win in overtime, or the Ravens win in overtime. And the consensus by far was the Bills win in regulation. Can't you just see Andrews catches a 2-point conversion, the Bills get the ball, Josh Allen moves them down the field, they kick a game-winning field goal. I could just envision that would have happened.
Yep.
But it would have been nice if we could have found out. That would have been great.
Yeah, so here's my thing. I don't really care if the refs help the Chiefs. I'm just going to give Eric a hard time just because I've literally had to watch the refs take a fucking index card, fold it in half in order to give somebody a first down, in order to screw my team. But if the Bills just would have kicked the extra point instead of going for 2,
thank you.
It would have been a different game.
Yep.
But as soon as the non-catch became a catch, I turned the game off. Because literally nobody had possession of the ball, and somehow after replay review, it was still a catch.
On that catch,
what's the point of replay review if
on the catch, even the announcers didn't seem like it was that bad. They were basically saying
nobody had their hand
like this.
Nobody had their hand under the ball, and nobody was gripping the ball.
Well, Worthy had it like this. Worthy was coming down. It was right here. It was right here, and then it rolled. But they said
ball hit the ground, and the ground.
Yeah, but it didn't move.
And the ground cannot help the completion.
No, the rule is the ball can hit the ground as long as it doesn't move, and you still have control of it. So that's exactly what the announcers were saying. Because when it hit the ground, they did not see it move. That might have been why they couldn't overturn it. But if they would have called it a non-catch, there would have been no way to overturn it either. So it was just one of those rulings where
I could feel the disappointment over here.
Sam, what were your thoughts on the game, buddy?
I felt Jeremy's disappointment the entire game. I was able to feel it without even seeing him. I was like, Jeremy's already hating this. I don't know. One of the calls that kind of got me was Josh Allen did a sneak. It looked like he really did get over the line.
Oh, the 4th and 1. Yeah, the 4th and 1.
Yeah, that's the one that really got me because I'm like, didn't he get over the line? It looked like on the TV, he looked like he got over, but they're saying no. And that's the only one that I'm like really like, that's.
I wasn't even so much upset about that. The second play I was upset about was the 3rd down. That wasn't a first down, but was actually a first down. Before the 4th and 1.
Yeah. The Josh Allen one, that one, look, I don't know. I looked at it. It looked like he could have been.
The messed up part about that 4th and 1 is the ref who could see the ball deferred to the guy who couldn't see the ball.
Yeah, to make
the call.
And then when they did the
replay,
when they did the replay, Chris Jones was standing in the perfect position where you could not see where the first down marker basically was. It was Chris Jones just standing. So I don't know. He wasn't really standing, but he was like, I don't know. That one, I could see everybody getting upset about that. 100%. But
with the catch, I was like, that just reminds me of Seattle and Green Bay with the Fail Mary kind of.
But that was actually a catch, though. That was actually a catch.
I don't know. I just watched it.
They landed on their back and on top of them. That was actually.
Well, we just have another exhibit in the trial of what is a catch.
Yeah, nobody knows what a catch is.
In the City and the Bills game, we don't know what a catch is.
Somehow that was a catch, but Des Bryant wasn't a catch. We don't know.
Right. Or Calvin Johnson.
Or exactly. I agree with Jeremy though in the game. I said when they first went for the 4th down, I said, "Oh, you guys are going to be in trouble. You guys, you have to take points in these games. You can't keep giving up points." And there was looking at the game. I'm looking at it, and right when the game ended, I told my wife, I was like, "Look, this is why they lost because they went for it twice on second down for 2-point conversions, and there was something else that they did that made us go for it too." If you take those away, you literally are tied or up by 1. But it was just one of those things where it was almost like the Detroit Lions, where they just fell in love too much. And they're like, no, we're going to force this. And how are you not prepared for Steve Spagnuolo blitz on 4th down?
This team was Josh Allen just running like a monster, honestly.
Yeah, but how are you not prepared?
Once you take care of that, unfortunately, the Bills really have nothing else going for them.
Yeah, but on that 4th down to Dalton, that it was thrown, everybody in the world knew Steve Spagnuolo was blitzing. Everybody, except for the Bills. So, I don't like Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen. I don't feel bad for him. I don't care. But
because all hail Mahomes for you, right?
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. Like, yeah, he had his chance. Is he gonna be like the quarterbacks that didn't win, like the Phillip Rivers that got close but didn't win? The Dan Marinos, yeah. But at least Dan Marino got to a Super Bowl.
That's fair. He got the one.
Jim Kelly's, but at least he got to a Super Bowl.
He got the 4.
I don't know. I don't know about that. What are your thoughts on
Mahomes was supposed to be the hero, but he lived long enough to become the villain.
Yeah, Allen might be that quarterback. You know, he might get to a Super Bowl, but for a while they're going to have to go through the Chiefs or the Ravens and the Bengals even. You know, one thing I was wondering, on one of those 4th downs, I think Allen ran, I think it was to the left, and he got stopped on 4th down, and one of the announcers said the Chiefs know that he always runs to the left on those sneaks.
Yeah,
and I heard that, and I'm wondering, well, wait, if they know that, why doesn't everybody know that? Or did the Chiefs just figure that out, and this announcer got some private information from the Chiefs before the game? I mean,
the Chiefs are one of the most well-prepared teams. That's what people don't give them credit for. They are literally one of the most it's almost, they were comparing it to like how Belichick prepares his teams for certain instances. They're so well prepared for situational football. So I'm just like in the Super Bowl last year, the Chiefs reviewed the rules for overtime multiple times every single practice, and the Niners didn't.
Niners players, they asked for the ball first.
Yeah, the Niners they even said we didn't know the rules. They found out the rules in the game. Yeah, their Jurkowski or whatever his name was like, oh, they get the ball no matter what we do. They literally found out the rules in the game.
That's hard to believe because even casual fans knew the rules before the game.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, even Dora knew the rules. Come on.
So, okay, Commanders, Eagles. What are your guys? That was
that got off the rails really fast.
That was the Eagles.
That escalated quickly.
Eagles are scary.
The Eagles wrote a check that didn't bounce.
The Eagles.
Frankie Louvu, though, I really want to talk about him. What the heck? He really tried to jump that count a little too much.
Oh, that was hysterical.
Yeah.
I want to see the rule that says that, you know, if they continue to do it, they can award a touchdown.
Well, that didn't make any sense. They said if you're doing it intentionally, I don't see why they would have been doing that intentionally. They weren't trying to delay the game intentionally. They're trying to stop them, right?
Right, because they know what they're trying to do. I mean, the Eagles haven't been very good at the fucking tush push all season.
Yeah, because since Jason Kelce retired.
Right.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
But that's the only way to
retired last year
to combat the tush push.
Oh yeah.
Anthony's talent saying that he knew the run defense was bad.
Who, Washington's?
Yeah.
Look, listen. Can somebody? I hate John Mara. I hate him so bad. I dislike him. I wish he would have done something else with Saquon Barkley because this man has broken like a 60-yard touchdown in every playoff game.
Yeah, because he has an offensive line to block for him for once.
They just can't. Nobody can stop him. Some of the stuff that he's doing, you're just like, wait, what?
He literally jumped over a guy backwards.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not liking that. He scares the shit out of me. And
I'd like to see.
So Washington,
like to
huh?
Go ahead.
And then their receivers. A.J. Brown, so you can't stack 10 in the box because you got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. This team is scary. Their only big deficiency, and people might disagree with me, is Jalen Hurts.
No, I'm with you.
I do not. Yeah, it's Jalen Hurts. That is the one thing that made them back.
What was that, last year? Where he really doesn't do much, unfortunately. All he has to do is get the ball to where it needs to be.
He's not a needle mover.
He's not.
Larry, what were your thoughts on the game?
On the Super Bowl?
Oh no, the Eagles Commanders.
Oh, the Eagles Commanders. Okay, yeah. Well, I agree everything about Saquon. He's just been unbelievable. But yeah, it's running behind the Eagles line instead of the Giants line. I mean, even I could gain half a yard with that Eagles offensive line.
Okay.
If I was on the Giants, I would be tackled 4 yards deep every play.
Yes.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, right. I'd love to see Saquon go for like 200 yards in the Super Bowl. That'd be amazing. See him break a long touchdown run and go for 200 yards in the Super Bowl. Yeah, you're shaking your head. I can say that. I don't really care who wins.
Yeah, it would.
So
Don't get me wrong, but I would like to see it afterwards. As long as we win, he could go for 300 yards. I don't care.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing, though, about, this isn't about the Super Bowl, but about Saquon. They sat him out the last week of the year, which made a lot of sense to do that. But these records should be adjusted because they play a lot more games now. So, if you break a record, but you played 17 games and the other guy played 14 games, did you really break the record? No, you didn't.
True, I get what you're saying because of the fact that they have way more opportunities.
Right, and 1,000, rushing for 1,000 yards, now is not nearly as difficult as it was when they were playing 14 games. Obviously,
100%. I agree with you on that. No, they should not have said it. No, they should. I don't care. They should not have said it. I'm still going to say that. That's a 40-year-old record. That record is almost as old as me.
Well, what about that sack record that we were talking about a little while back? Whatever that guy's name is, who's upset that Brett Favre just took the dive. Mark Gastineau?
Yeah.
Because, he played in less games and got his 22.
This is kind of the thing. We can say that. We can say, oh, they're playing in less games, but we can combat that with the players are a lot better now. They're a lot better now. Eric Dickerson was not, granted, they could hit harder in football. They could hit way harder in football. They could grab you by the face mask. They could do all that crazy stuff. So might have been more physical, but the running back is not used as much as he was. The players are a lot faster, stronger, bigger. So we're
a lot more protected now.
They are a lot more protective. Yeah, a lot more penalties are called. So I think they kind of still, you have your variables in all of them that could kind of change.
They have tissue boxes on the field now.
So I would say
quiet rooms on the sidelines for people to go crying.
I would say we just keep records like almost. I wouldn't say it's kind of hard to break them up generational, but like this yes, Saquon Barkley may have outbeat Eric Dickerson if he played that last game, but Eric Dickerson plays in a different time frame because, like he said, there's more games. They may have had more opportunities because backs were used way more back then than they are now. So I think you should kind of like generational setup, break up the records. Like Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain's record in the NBA should be like, when there were only like so many teams before certain, because nobody's getting 100 points now.
Or Bill Russell winning 11 championships.
Look, I'm sorry. That'll never be touched. I don't care. I don't care who. I don't care if there's 12 teams. To win a championship 11 times in 12 years is ridiculously hard.
This competition real quick. One of the top defenders probably had to go to a dentist appointment right afterwards.
He played Jerry West, the logo. He played Wilt Chamberlain. He played Elgin Baylor. He played the guy that played in St. Louis. I can't think about it. The guy that beat him when he played against. Why am I drawing a blank? He played against the big guy from the Bullets. Can't think of his name.
Wes Unseld?
Huh? Yes, Wes Unseld. There we go. Yeah. So I can't. One of the few rookie MVP. I can't knock somebody when you win that many championships. I don't care how many teams there are, unless there's two. If there's two, that's a different story. Like the Harlem Globetrotters. Nobody cares about the Harlem Globetrotters. But
it's supposed to be an entertainment, not a real thing.
Outside of that. Hey, as a kid, I thought it was real, okay, when I went to see them, okay? I thought that was real.
I love seeing them. They're freaking great. That's not a championship, though. All you play is the same team.
But I definitely think – I definitely do agree with Larry that there should be some way to break up the way the media it's looked at. Because even though if Saquon would have broke that record, that would have been the new record for years. We would have mentioned Eric Dickerson, but it wouldn't have been the same category.
So
unless somehow you get injured,
would he be a Hall of Famer?
Huh?
Mark Gastineau, the guy from the Jets who's upset with Brett Favre, would he be a Hall of Famer?
No.
He seems to think that's the only reason why.
Listen, I'm sorry. If you have one good season, that doesn't make you a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry. It just doesn't, in my opinion. Hall of Famer is the best of the best for a certain amount of time. Longevity, availability, dependability, all of those abilities matter too. Consistability, I don't even know if that's a word. I might have just made that up. All of them matter too.
Okay, so he has 107 sacks in his career. He got 2, 11.5, 20, 6, 19, 22, 13.5, 2, 4.5, and 7.
And what was the record?
I mean, it's pretty consistent.
What was the record, though? His record?
22.
And what was his second highest total?
20.
Okay. I don't know. We'd have to look at how many sacks people were getting in that era.
Yeah.
Like, is that average? What were the sack leaders every year? Was that average, or was he
that's the 80s. That was
slightly
the 80s.
above the best? So, I mean, if you have multiple players getting 18, 19 sacks, is he really that much better than the average player?
Let's see here.
By the way, for people just joining us, this is Larry. He wrote a book. His book is called The History of Fantasy Sports and the Stories of the People Who Made It Happen. You can find it on all major book-selling websites, but I ordered mine from Amazon. If you do order it, make sure you go and leave a review. First 20 minutes of the show was him talking about his book. So you might want to go back and rewind, watch that part. Great stories, a lot of good stuff that I didn't even know about.
So just for record, by the way, he has the 6th most sacks in the 80s, Mark Gastineau.
Who has it? Okay,
LT
he has the 6th most sacks in 10 years. How many more did he have than 7th?
2. Technically 1.5.
Do you see my point now? I don't know. I know who he is. I was too young to see him play, so I can't remember him playing.
We're going based off of stats. I mean,
but I don't remember. I don't really know much about him until he started talking shit to Brett Favre. So
that really upset him.
Like, when was the last time his name was brought up in any sports conversation?
The 80s.
Jeremy, have we ever mentioned his name on the show in the 4 years we've been doing this?
He's more mad at Brett Favre for taking a dive for giving somebody the record than Brett Favre stealing money from welfare.
There we go.
And then also TJ Watt broke his record in 2021.
Good one. Okay, we got a couple quick takes that we're going to jump in.
Talk about comeback player of the year.
Huh?
Well, are we doing this again?
Comeback player of the year. If you're just we're gonna give it out to people who come back from sucking the year before.
Okay, that's okay. So
who's even on the? Who's comeback player of the year award nominees?
Who won this
year?
Gave
it to Sam Darnold.
He is a comeback player. That is a comeback player of the year.
Why? Because he sucked last year.
He sucked his whole career.
So what the fuck? What did he come back from?
You know what? I understand.
You had a bad year. Good job for playing good this year. Here's your fucking participation trophy, you little bitch.
What about so when Adrian Peterson got injured and came back, that's a good representation of the comeback player of the year.
Right. You have to actually come back from something. You didn't come back from sucking. You were just terrible.
He came back from the bench.
That is
the backup.
Like there's no comeback from just playing bad.
But what would you give him? Most improved?
Nothing.
It would be more like most improved is better than makes more sense than comeback. Yeah.
Right, because he he came back from you played bad last year. Oh.
Well, he's played bad his whole
career. You actually played to what you get paid to do.
So he was on the bench last year with San Francisco after his Panthers stint.
Good for him. Good for him.
They got to get a better award for that.
Therefore, what did he come back from?
I mean, I know you didn't like the DeMar Hamlin Comeback Player of the Year award when he won, right?
I mean, he came back from dying.
Did he die?
But he didn't. He wasn't a starter.
He was. He was their starting safety.
Hey, guess what? I don't care. He got fucking torched in the AFC Championship game.
That's cool.
He gets torched in every game.
He is a horrible cornerback, guys. Horrible.
He's had like one or two good games.
But how do you go from giving somebody that basically died on the field, as Sam said, to Sam Darnold? How is that the same award?
Well, yeah, Sam Darnold died on the bench. Come on. Don't you see the relevance?
Sam Darnold's starter career. No. Sam Darnold died as a starter. And he was
seeing ghosts. He already was there.
Well, Sam killed his team in the last 2 games that he played.
Yeah.
That's true too. He's a murderer.
He should get the most improved player for the first 16 weeks or whatever of the season, and then for the last 2 weeks of the year, he should get the most unimproved player.
Yeah. Oh, he was bad.
I mean,
He's back to seeing Ghost.
those last 2 games, my God.
Yeah,
So like, I don't understand the awards. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Well,
My
who else
biggest
was
gripe is
nominated
comeback
for it?
player of the year, because every year is something different and it's so stupid. And like, they're giving it to people that aren't coming back from anything. Like, you came back from sucking. Okay. What?
I mean, Kirk Cousins came back from an Achilles tear. You want to give it to him? I don't.
No, like, you have to actually come back and perform. Like,
He can't. He got benched.
like, you can't come back and just exist.
All right, we'll give it
who,
to Michael Penix. He came back from Kirk Cousins.
who would have been the better comeback player of the year this year?
Stafford.
Saquon?
Probably because he got in when he ended last year injured.
I'm pretty sure he did. But
J.K.
he
Dobbins
also,
for getting hurt again.
this is his best season since like what, his third year or whatever?
Well, it's not about best season. You got to come back from something. You're not getting the comeback player of the year because you had your best season in your career.
No, but if you were a good player and had a down year, 2 down years.
That's not comeback player. That is not. What did you come back from? Because you had a down year?
But no, not just a down year. You had a couple down years, injuries or whatever. The offensive line sucked.
What'd you come back from?
You came back. He played 14 games last year. So, dude, yes, this would be my example. So, 2022, he had 1,300 yards. And then 2023, he had an off year because a couple injuries, nicks and bangs. He played for a shitty team in the Giants. They didn't know what they were doing. The quarterback sucked. All of his organization was bad. He moves to a different team. The grass was greener in this scenario. And he does 2,000 yards.
But that's not.
He came back to reality.
From a shitty team doesn't mean you came back.
He came back to reality.
That's not what the award is meant for. Just because you had a bad season.
I'm trying.
Did he end last season injured?
Yeah, I don't know if he did or not. Let me see.
Like, you have to come back. You actually have to come back from something.
I sat down and I heard he came back from organization.
Yeah, he came back from an organization.
He was with New York and then went to the Eagles.
If you're just giving awards for leaving New York, I mean,
right,
you'll be handing that thing out to
That's
everybody.
basically what it was.
Okay, let's see.
And he came back from New York. Came back to reality.
He's back.
No, he did finish the season healthy. So I don't know who comeback of the player of the year would be. I know they should have other ones too. If we're gonna give everybody participation trophies, we should give sucky ass trophies too, like choke artist or pretenders. We should I would definitely give Jared Goff.
Saquon won MVP.
What?
Saquon won MVP.
He did?
Yeah.
It's announced?
Can I get a source for this, please?
Please. Because I did argue for him winning MVP over Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson.
They didn't pick anything yet. February 6th is when they're going to do it.
Other quick takes that we got. Has anybody seen Liam Cohen's Duval chant?
Duval.
Oh my God.
Jeremy.
Yeah, wait, they haven't announced any of the awards yet. What are you talking about? No one's won it yet. How is DeMar Hamlin on the comeback player of the year again?
As long as it's not inferior shit running back shit ass Lamar, I'm okay with that. Come here, mama.
So it was the Fox NFL Awards.
Okay.
Fox NFL Awards.
Right.
Okay.
So on the actual NFL comeback player of the year awards, Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold, J.K. Dobbins, who got hurt again, by the way, Christian Gonzalez, and DeMar Hamlin.
Wait, say those 5 again?
Joe Burrow, Sam
Okay.
Darnold, J.K. Dobbins, Christian Gonzalez, and DeMar Hamlin.
Wait, Sam Darnold got it over Joe Burrow?
No, he didn't get it yet. They're getting announced on Thursday.
Oh.
These are the people who are the finalists.
Burrow's winning.
You sure? I think DeMar Hamlin's got a chance again.
So Fox gave MVP. Fox gave MVP to Saquon.
Okay, Fox. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
Since DeMar was so close to dying, you could make a case that he should be the Comeback Player of the Year award winner for every year that he remains in the NFL.
Yeah, seriously. That seems like what they're doing because he's not coming back from anything.
Okay.
Right.
Listen, I have no problem with that if they want to do that, but as long as they know they're giving it to a suck-ass player. Like I'm not, this is about to sound bad, what I'm about to say. The only reason why we know his name is because he died on the field. We don't know his name for any football accolade. We don't know anything that this man has done. Nobody can tell me the last time he had an interception or a pick six or return for a touchdown, a sack, anything like that. All I can tell you is this motherfucker got torched in the AFC Championship game, and we only know his name because he died. I think him having that amount of clout and everybody knowing who he is reward enough. I don't think we need to give him any more rewards.
So wait, are there 2 Comeback Player of the Year awards?
Are there one in each conference?
No. So there's the AP Comeback Player of the Year award, which is an NFL that was given to the NFL player. It was an NFL AFL, the AP Comeback Player of the Year award. But then there's the PFW/PFWA Comeback Player of the Year award.
I don't even know what
Pro Football Weekly.
Oh, that doesn't count. I don't know.
I would take the Fox picks well above Pro Football Weekly.
All right, so let's go over this real quick. Does Joe Flacco deserve to be Comeback Player of the Year last year?
Joe Flacco deserves to get like last place ribbon.
That already answered my question.
Yeah, no, he should not have. I mean, he came off the couch and played 8 games?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Then the year before was Geno Smith.
This is like the Sam Darnold, where he came back from sucking and bouncing around a whole bunch of teams and landed on Seattle and went to the playoffs.
Joe Burrow.
After injured. What year was that? 2021?
2021 when he went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so that makes sense because he was injured the year before.
Alex Smith.
Fuck Alex Smith.
That was the year he ripped his leg basically and came back to play.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Nope.
Tannehill.
He deserved it.
Tannehill deserved it?
No, I was talking about Alex Smith.
No, he did not.
Just because
Tannehill, that's another
Sam, salty bitch.
That's another Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, where he was cut from Miami, showed up in Tennessee.
No, he's talking about Alex Smith.
No, I thought you said Tannehill. I'm not talking about Alex Smith no more. I'm done talking about Alex Smith.
No, he said Tannehill. Alex Smith deserved it, yes.
Tannehill did not. No, but that's a Geno Smith.
He came back from being shitty the year before.
Yeah, he got cut by Miami and then was in the Tennessee, and really Derrick Henry allowed him to be good.
And then the last one we could talk about, Andrew Luck in 2018.
Didn't he come back from almost dying?
I don't know what he came back from.
He came back from a lot of injuries.
Yeah, and then it was Keenan Allen and Jordy Nelson who won it the 2 years after.
And then he retired 2 years. Wait, Keenan Allen. They need to give him comeback player. They should give that man is always injured. They should take that away from him.
I mean, Eric Berry won it in 2015 after beating.
Yeah, because Eric Berry had cancer.
Yeah. And Gronk won it in 14.
I'm just saying there's a lot of good names on here, and we knew who all of these names were. Most of us knew who these names were because of their performance on the field. There's only one that is not the same as the rest of them, and it starts with DeMar and ends in Hamlin.
Well, he also didn't win it, so
right.
He hasn't won it.
Yeah, DeMar also, I think he started the year as a backup. And what did he become full time because of an injury or something?
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So I mean, he's not. He wasn't even good enough to be a starter when the season started. He's a backup, so he's definitely not that good.
That's been my argument the whole time.
We only
I think we are spending way too much time talking about the stupid Comeback Player of the Year award.
Yeah.
It's not that big an award. I mean, we're not talking about like the player, the MVP or the Cy Young Award winner. The Comeback Player of the Year award, that's a nice little award, but really, come on. But we've been talking about this for like 45 minutes now.
Yeah, pretty much. What's funny too is it only starts because Jeremy gets so upset over it.
It's bullshit.
The last quick take I have is Benavides versus Morale. Your boy, the Mexican Monster, is fighting today.
Is that really his name, the Mexican Monster?
That's his nickname.
That sounds horrible.
Huh?
Is he the Chupacabra?
He is. This boy is.
Or is the Chupacabra sitting behind you, Eric?
That's the Chupacabra sitting behind me.
That's the New York City rat.
That's my hairless cat. So, the winner of this is going to face the winner of Bivol and Dimitri for the undisputed light heavyweight championship.
What's his name? Bivol?
That is a Times Square rat.
Stop talking mess about my cat. Leave my homie alone.
So the winner of this gets to fight Beavis and Butthead? Who? Basically
is exactly what I said. They get to fight Beavis and Butthead. So if the fight is tonight, it's supposed to be really good if you like I do. So it's supposed to be really good. And it will set up for the first undisputed champion in the 4 light belt division in light heavyweight history. Okay, let's get into some somber news. Justin Tucker, NFL players, and massage parlors. What is going on?
We need to
ban. Was he hanging out with what's his name in Cleveland?
Deshaun?
Yeah. Were they hanging out together?
Have you heard about this, Larry? The scandal?
I heard about it, and last night I actually read a long article about it, and he, first of all, this happened 8 or 10 years ago, and it's just coming out now. So, the first question is, why is it just coming out now after all these years? My second question is, now that it has come out, it wouldn't be shocking if over the next few weeks, maybe some people come forward and make allegations that he's done this sort of thing more recently. But it definitely, from what I read, this is true. He denies it, his lawyers deny it, but they're saying that the owners of 2 of these massage parlors confirmed that they banned him as a client. It sounds very credible. But I just, like I said, why is it coming out now?
They said the first incident happened in 2014 when he was drafted into the league.
Yeah, and the last incident, I forget the year, but the last incident was 2018 or something like that.
It's weird to me how it's always a decade later
that this comes up. Well, as we've kind of learned, and I hate to say this, but the NFL hates women.
I'm just going to keep my mouth shut on this one because the last time we talked about massage parlors and an NFL player, I went off on a huge ass rant. I was completely wrong. So I don't know if he did it or not, but I'm going to basically say he probably did.
Well, here's my question, though. Is this going to be like in baseball, that huge steroid scandal where names of players just came out like this player did it, this player did it, this player did it? Is this going to happen with the
I've been feeling that the house of cards is tumbling. Is the leader of the pack is the owner of the Patriots.
Oh yeah.
So Kraft has the list.
Kraft is the top of the pyramid scheme.
Did y'all see that?
Heist.
Did you guys see the Twitter post that AB did?
I see his tracker of the day.
Which Twitter post are we going to talk about here about AB? He's
the one where he had Deshaun, Justin Tucker, and Robert Kraft basically arm in arm around each other.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Oh my god!
13 seconds needs a massage.
13 seconds. I love that name. Yes.
It was 12 seconds.
It was.
Is that
13.
how long the massage lasts?
That's from 13 seconds to the Bills and Chiefs in the AFC Championship game.
I thought it was 12 seconds.
It was 13.
Not tossing out mystery dig touches. All I know is that if you are an NFL player, stay away from massage parlors. You only got to do a couple things right. Treat women respectably. Don't rape, do anything bad to a woman. Don't do any drugs. And don't fight.
What's considered a drug?
Depending on what state you're in.
What?
What's considered a drug?
So
something illegal.
The legal definition is a man-made substance for like illicit use. Yeah.
So why is weed a drug?
That's why weed is legal in 26 states, because what they will say is weed grows, but to actually do what you need to dry it out, you need to roll it, you need to apply flyer to it. I only know this because I had a friend who challenged somebody in court in Nevada in the early 2000s when he got caught with weed.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And basically the judge after a while, the judge was just like, just get out of my courtroom.
It was like both you get out.
It was 2 dime sacks of weed. And he was like, I'm not pleading guilty to anything. No, the legal definition is a man-made substance. This is not man-made. And he's like, well, you have to do this. He goes, I didn't even have that. I just had some grass in a bag. I didn't roll it. I didn't dry it. I didn't do anything. And after like 10 minutes of him arguing, the judge just said, get out of his court.
Yeah, that's one way to get out of it.
Yep. So I'm not 100% positive exactly. I just saying they should stop. Y'all stop doing. You will make tons of money. Women will throw themselves at you. Why do you got to go through a massage parlor and get a little mystery duck touch? I don't understand that.
Hold on. Mr.
Last year,
really think Justin Tucker's pulling that kind of weight?
Yeah.
Mr. I hate kickers over here?
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Yeah, the last year that he was accused of doing this, he was married.
That's worse.
Yeah, so he got married about the 3rd or 4th year this was going on, and he was married for a year or so after when this was still going on. So I'm sure his wife is asking questions about this.
You should probably just marry a masseuse at that point.
You don't even have to do that. Look, I don't care that you're a kicker. I don't care if you're a punter. I don't care who you are. You have money. You literally walk into a restaurant, a club, or whatever, dress nice, flash some money, and chicks are coming to you. That's just how it happens.
Dude. He's a good looking dude.
You don't find wifey material like that, but neither do you at a massage parlor. I just don't understand it.
What I don't understand is why is it that we have to wait for a woman to get beat up in an elevator for someone to actually get blacklisted for this?
Well, the thing at the massage parlor is it's like probably almost impossible to prove. That's why stuff like this doesn't get reported by the massage parlors. They just ban the client.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because without the video, they don't have video in the rooms because they're naked.
Yeah, you don't have video. You can't prove anything.
Unless you get Tony Busby as your lawyer. Tony Busby will find a plethora of people.
Dude is a crackhead.
That dude, he's suing somebody else, for another celebrity.
That dude, I'm pretty sure his success rate is like in the teens.
Like him.
Dude, he's going to listen. All I'm saying is Tony Busby will go find about 25 other people to corroborate this story.
That dude is a whack job.
That dude is just crazy. That's the guy from Deshaun Watson's case, if everybody doesn't know about it.
Oh.
He takes on all kinds of stupid cases.
Yeah, he has a whole bunch, but he became famous with the Deshaun Watson case. All right. Kelsey Plum gets traded. Do you watch WNBA, Larry?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't even know who Kelsey Plum is.
So, okay.
I know who Caitlin Clark is. I don't know.
Do you know who Darren Waller is? The ex-NFL player for the Giants and the Raiders?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know who he is.
Kelsey Plum was his wife.
Oh, okay, right. I remember.
Kelsey Plum is the one that made him make that video where he was crying on the beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So Kelsey Plum played for the Las Vegas Aces. She was drafted there. She's won 2 championships with them. She was an integral part of their team as more of a shooting guard. She's only like 5'9", but she has been traded to the Sparks, and she gets to join Big Baby Bitch.
She gets to play with Big Baby Bitch.
Big Baby Bitch. For y'all that don't know who Big Baby Bitch is, that's De'Erica Hamby, who decided to sue the Aces after we traded her and is doing the WNBA right now. And somehow she is still in the league.
They need
for a
players.
toxic environment. So what were your Jeremy, did we jinx it?
I was laughing.
But did we jinx it?
No, she was going to be a free agent anyway.
We just talked
She
about
was
it.
already going somewhere.
She was going to be a free agent anyway, so instead of letting her walk for free, they got something out of it.
And we got Jewel Lloyd.
Yeah. I'll take Jewel Lloyd any day. Jewel Lloyd has already said she thinks that she blamed their coach for her poor average.
Oh,
Yeah,
I already know. I
did
did too.
The Nike money.
Yeah.
I blame her coach too.
She only averaged 19.7 and she needed 20 to get the Nike bonus.
Oh yeah, because her coach probably yeah. That's happened. That does not surprise me at all.
But I see the Indiana just picked up who they just pick up?
No idea.
Sophie Cunningham.
Oh, that's okay. Sabali got traded from the Mercury. Traded to the Mercury from the Wings, and then where did the man Brittany Griner go?
I sent it in the Discord. I forgot. Hold on.
Was that Atlanta?
Yeah, she went to the Dream.
Yeah.
And Sophie Cunningham going to Indiana with Caitlin.
Yeah, 10-time WNBA All-Star Brittany Griner has agreed to a deal with the Dream.
Yeah, she went to Dream that she was still a woman.
She's not going to Duval.
And then Kelsey Mitchell's re-signed with Indiana.
Yep. Definitely.
And then they didn't they get somebody else?
They might have. It's still going on. We're gonna get a lot of stuff right now.
There's going to be more action.
They're getting way. I think it's a lot of it is you're at that weird time in the WNBA where the expansion is going to help because you have a lot of stacked teams and there's a lot of people that we know. So like you're seeing the big names getting moved left and right, and pretty soon they're going to have.
Feeling this season it's going to be the Aces and Fever.
No, I have a feeling it's going to be the Aces and Liberty.
I don't think so. I think the Liberty are going to go take a nosedive.
No, the Liberty just got they just got somebody.
Vandersloot?
No, they already had her.
Yeah, her last year.
Yeah, I think she left anyway.
Yeah, she went to Sabrina. She went to did they lose Natasha Howard? That's who Indiana got, Natasha Howard.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's who they didn't get nobody. They lost Natasha Howard. That's what it was. So they lost her and they lost Courtney Vandersloot.
Yeah, New York hasn't signed anybody.
Yeah. All right. So did you guys hear about NBA and Caitlin Clark?
About her turning down a 3-point?
Yep.
Turned down a 3-point contest.
NBA wanted her in the 3-point contest like they did Sabrina Ionescu. CC said, no, I'm good. The first time I'm going to be in a 3-point contest is in the WNBA.
Well, I thought they said that she said no because she didn't want to shoot off a rack.
They shoot off a rack in the WNBA 3-point contest.
I thought the report that came out said that she didn't want to shoot the 3-point contest off the rack. She wanted it to. She's been practicing with them throwing the ball in.
She might have, but from what I heard, it was she did not want to. Yeah, she did not want. She turns down the All-Star event, eyes the WNBA event. So she wants her first 3-point contest to be a WNBA All-Star in Indianapolis. So I don't know where that report came from. But yeah, that was what I heard. She wants the eyes to be the first time she does that. She understands who she is as a commodity and wants the eyes brought to the WNBA instead of the NBA.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which is actually pretty cool because she's trying to grow her brand. But the NBA is in trouble.
Yeah, I tried watching a game the other night. What was it? The Hawks and the Cavs. And it was boring to watch. I did not enjoy myself watching that.
Do you watch NBA, Larry?
A little bit. Yeah, my NBA story for today is yesterday I happened to meet a woman whose husband is in like the developmental, the D League or something.
Yep.
And I don't know his name. I didn't get his name, but he's hoping that the Hawks are going to give him a 10-day contract within the next several days.
Nice.
So there's my NBA story. I don't know. I didn't catch his name.
That is really cool though, because the G League is they're getting better with the way they treat, with the way they travel and everything. But that is so cool.
Yeah.
When do we think the NBA is going to get a new commissioner?
Never.
Soon.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think that the owners are going to continue with this. I do not think that he's
viewership is going down. It's almost like it's gotten boring to see anything with the NBA.
There's already so many people complaining.
The continuous marketing for the NBA is just around the same people.
LeBron, Curry, Klay Thompson, Luka, Kyrie.
But that's not even that to me isn't the biggest issue. It's all of the changes that he's making and the way they're comparing it to soccer. Like the NBA Cup, I want to make a 10-minute quarter. We're going to change the All-Star game 17 times. We're going to do this and this and this. And after a while, the owners are so used to getting money with David Stern. They blew up in that time period, and it's consistently gone downhill, and the game has changed so much. Like, it is very hard to watch. I sent you the 3-point thing. That's the biggest issue. I don't care what anybody says.
Pointers. When I was watching, Evan Mobley was hitting up threes. I'm like, you're 7 foot, dude. Get in the paint.
Get in the paint. You don't have the vivacious jams. You do have the crossovers, but now the crossover is a step back three that may go in, it may not go in. You don't have people coming down the lane just yamming on people all the time. You don't have any big men to get dunked on. Anytime Wemby gets dunked on, everybody loves it. But that's like the only big man that you really have to get dunked on. You don't even have somebody like Blake Griffin dunking on people. You don't have any. The league is so unexciting watching the NBA due to the fact that everybody does the same thing. Crossover, step back three. Side step three. In and out three. Drive, kick outside to the corner, 3. Big man, instead of being inside, 3.
Well, I don't know. It's like there's nothing. They're not doing anything to draw new viewers in.
And that's the thing.
There's nothing. So you all know me. I don't like watching the NBA. I think it's boring as shit, and I think it's stupid. I would rather watch 700 WNBA games before I watch an NBA game. But they're not doing anything to attract people like me to go watch the NBA.
No.
All they're changing is the in-season cup was added, which honestly it was cool for the first year, but this year it's like, it wasn't that interesting anymore. The courts are hideous anyway. Then they're doing like the All-Star game because All-Star weekend is dead. Like, unfortunately, like you really do need LeBron, Zion, Ja Morant to do the dunk contest. Instead, we're relying on Mac McClung and Obi Toppin, maybe. I don't know. I mean, like, no one wants to do this stuff anymore, and that's what's killing it. Because no one, again, Mac McClung is cool and all. He's going for his 3-peat, but, like, no one knew who he was 2 years ago.
He's a G League player.
Kobe and Jordan used to do it, and everyone loved it.
Look, I don't agree with Stephen A. Smith a lot. But I'm going to agree with this. LeBron killed the dunk contest.
Yes, he did.
By not doing it. And that dunk is one of the most I don't care who you are. I don't care if you don't watch basketball. I don't care at all. If you go down and see somebody get yammed on, a smaller dude yam on a big dude and then stare over him, you get excited watching it. You may not even watch the whole game. That's just how it, and that is no longer in the game. The most exciting play is no longer in the game. And it's been traded in for the 3. And the NBA Cup was only good last year for one reason. LeBron.
It was new.
Yeah, and it was LeBron. If LeBron was not in the NBA Cup, nobody would have cared. Just like this year, LeBron was they weren't in the finals. You had Dame and Giannis in the finals. And I think they played against Shea and them. And still, no, everybody, because you either love or hate LeBron. But yeah, that game, the NBA is in trouble. I'm not I don't know why they keep trying to change it. You know what we need? We need like
marketing for other players.
I was gonna say what we need is like a 6'6", a 6'7", 6'8" in that range, small forward shooting guard that grows up in the United States, that speaks relatively well. It's got to speak well because some of these people in the United States don't speak well. Got to speak relatively well. It's got to be able to enunciate, and has chemistry. Like you would say, Anthony Edwards might be that dude, but I would say we need one more. We need somebody. I don't care. It doesn't matter race or anything. You just have to have somebody else so they can go against each other to battle. So you can have that thing. I also think it's too small right now. All of your players are small. All of your superstars like Daniel Garland, Donovan Mitchell, they're all little.
I'm sorry, who Garland?
Darius Garland.
All right. I was like, you kind of fumbled on that. I'm like,
I did. I said Daryl Garland.
Yeah. So the one thing I'm worried about too, though, like Anthony Edwards is stuck on the Timberwolves, unfortunately, and we see how they do with their superstars. I mean, look at what happened with them and KG. Like that ended horribly. Like they
just traded Karl Anthony Towns,
just traded Cat, and they're going to run Anthony Edwards out of town at some point.
Oh yeah, easily.
And that also is another thing too. Like one of the issues, like especially with the Jimmy Butler situation going on right now. Like the complaining that some of these players can do, like I'm definitely on Jimmy's side here, but like a lot of players just sit out because they don't want to be there anymore, and they try to force their way out. Like remember when James Harden was trying to get out of Houston, and then tried to get out of Brooklyn, and then tried to get out of Philly, and he's going to try to get out of LA at some point.
Anthony Davis,
yeah, when he got out of New Orleans, like that's just there's too much of that going on now.
I can see that too. There is too much moving. There's too much player empowerment. The players control too much and they whine too much. Instead of them playing like Jimmy Butler, he's going to sit out and get suspended and do stupid stuff.
Yep.
I can see that. Larry, do you have any thoughts on this?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I don't watch much NBA anymore. Just lack, and not because I'm not interested, but lack of time to do everything.
Yeah. And the football is so easy because it used to just be Sunday. But really, honestly, you don't have to really watch Thursday much. But if you could just watch Sunday, you're good. Sunday, Monday, Thursday. But basketball is all on all times of the day, all times of the night. Yeah, I understand that. That's why
this is where the modern age helps me because basketball is on any time. But I could just open up my phone and be like, all right, what happened last night? All right. Cat shot a 3, Victor shot a 3, Steph shot a 3, and then just put it down, and then I'm done. You're caught up.
Sam or Jeremy, do you guys have anything else we want to go over before I let him do his plug his book again?
What do you think about? We talked about it earlier, and we're going to keep talking about it because it's really stupid. But Pat Riley trademarking the word three-peat.
That was interesting to find out. Because he's never repeated. Huh?
I think it's hilarious.
He's never three-peated, but got the trademark rights to the word three-peat. He's made a ton of money off of it, too. When the Lakers three-peated, when he wasn't even there. Like, the Bulls three-peat, he made a ton of money off of that. He wasn't even there. Like, what? How did he do this?
I guarantee you it was after the back-to-back championships in the 80s. That he went for the three-peat, that he went and trademarked it. And that's the only thing I can think of. Because that's before the Bulls three-peat. It had to be around that time. And let's talk about how smart Pat Riley is just to do that.
1989 is when he did it.
After the two championships. I told you, the back-to-back championships.
And if the Chiefs win, he makes millions.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, they won 87, 88. And then they didn't win again until 2000. So he must have trademarked it going into the 88, 89 season. Thinking that they might have a shot.
Show me the money.
He got $300,000 because of the Bulls three-peat.
What did he get for the Lakers?
Hold on, let's see. He got 300,000. No, that's Chicago again.
Yeah, they had 2 3-peats.
Yeah, I'm just looking up to see if someone has like all his earnings from this. Freaking brilliant.
And it's the
So he made
Chiefs.
300,000 when the Chicago's completed their first one. Another 600,000 when they did it again in 1998.
And it's going to be, and if the Chiefs win, it's going to be the Chiefs and Taylor Swift is attached. Oh, he's getting paid.
So
He made
Pat Riley,
600,000 the second time.
he's expected to make over $1 million if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. Pat Riley led the Lakers to back-to-back championships. So in '89, with the Lakers looking to win their 3rd consecutive, Riley filed the trademark for the 3-peat. He was granted and essentially covers everything related to merchandise: hats, shirts, jackets, mugs, backpacks, and more. The Lakers lost in the finals to the Detroit Pistons, but his trademark paid off. 300,000 for Chicago, 600,000. We don't exactly know how much 3-peat merchandise the Kansas City Chiefs will sell.
Now think how many Swifties there are.
Adjusted for 600,000.
Swifties.
They're saying one.
Another question: are they going to do a parade? If the Chiefs win, are they legitimately going to do another parade after what happened?
Said there's not going to be.
They said they're not going to. They already said they're not going to.
They said they're going to have an event at the stadium for family and VIPs.
Oh, that's fucked up. Whoever that was last year, he fucked it up for everybody.
Hey, well, I mean, okay, so I don't care about having guns, but I mean, you live in a place where you can freely carry guns.
You don't need to shoot it.
That's gonna happen at some point in time. Like, I'm sorry.
They should do the parade. They shouldn't let that stop.
Yeah,
them.
they should.
They absolutely should do the parade. I agree with you.
It's
I
like
want them to do a parade.
This guy's not a terrorist, but you can't let the terrorists win and shut down everything.
Yeah, and it was and 100%, and it was an argument that ended up going. Yeah, so I mean, I don't understand that.
If Philly wins, you know they're going to do it. And after the NFC Championship game anyway, some guy was shooting off shots.
Yeah.
People are crazy when your team is
okay. I'm getting different reports. So US Weekly says the Kansas City Chiefs will not hold a rally. Fox says no Super Bowl rally, but Kansas City Star says officials plan adjusted parade
if they win.
Yeah. So, however, there would still be a parade, and it would remain along the same route, just slight adjustment. It would start at Crown Center, travel north along Grand Boulevard to the north. Another source said Kansas City Commission has been working with police. So and then it's also possible the team could have a private rally or some other celebration, but it's unclear. So what they're thinking is there's going to be a parade, but instead of them standing outside and doing all that stuff like they did, then they're just going to go in and do the private rally. So I don't know about that. That's crazy.
Right, I got another one for you. Did you see? I saw this one the other day. It came out like 5 days ago. A driver apparently crashed his car and hit a few people during the Eagles celebration.
Oh.
It was either after the Rams game, before the Rams game. It was one of the, I think around that time I don't even remember when they said this happened. But yeah, a car just drove through a bunch of people.
It's Philly. They booed Santa Claus.
They threw batteries at him.
It's Philly. They booed Santa Claus.
It's Philly. What do you expect?
Exactly. It's fucking Philly. Okay. It's Philly and the Eagles. All right. We're about almost at an hour 30, so I guess this would be a great point to let Larry.
I found the video.
Book again. For you guys that don't know, here it is. This is Larry. He is the author of this book. Go ahead and tell him where you can get it from, and if you want to give a real quick story about it before we get off.
Yeah, you can get the book. Most booksellers' websites, paperback and ebook. Amazon's the easiest place to get it. That's where they got all the reviews, more details about the book. You want me to give another story, you said?
Yeah, you go ahead. Give us a real quick anecdote. A real quick story about it for people that didn't catch it.
All right, I'll give you one. one of the big evolutions for fantasy sports was when computers came around, and one of the first, that's when people realized they could do statistics with a computer, whereas before then the commissioners of the leagues would spend 8 hours a week or 10 hours a week doing all the stats by hand. And one of the first commissioner services was run by a couple, Jim and Gloria Berger in Pennsylvania. They did it for basketball and baseball. And what they did for baseball back then in the 80s was you get the statistics from the USA Today. On Tuesday, they published the American League statistics, and Wednesday, the National League statistics. So Gloria would read the statistics from the USA Today. Jim would enter them into the computer. The computer would calculate all the results. They'd mail reports to their clients on Wednesday night. One Wednesday, however, Gloria went into labor with her first child. But they didn't let that stop them from doing their job. So in between contractions, Gloria would read the statistics to Jim, and then she'd feel another one coming on. She'd be like, oh, wait, hold on. Here comes another one. Okay, it passed. And she'd continue. And their daughter was born at 3:30 in the afternoon. They got their reports out in the mail on time that night. And now, 37 years later, the daughter born that day plays in a fantasy football league with her dad.
Oh, that's a cute story.
Full circle.
That, you know, what's so funny about that though? Like how much work people had to do to keep these fantasy leagues and stuff going back in the day.
I was actually just thinking that too. I was like, wow, you have to write down everything, put it into a computer, and then send the results out. Like it's not.
But it wasn't sending it. It was, were they mailing it?
Well, they were mailing it, but you know, before computers, everything was by hand.
Yeah.
You know, before, you know, if we had a fantasy football league and I'm the commissioner, everybody would have to call me by like noon on Sunday or whatever with their moves. I'd have to do all the, you know, roster moves by hand, then calculate all the statistics by hand, you know, write out the standings by hand, or maybe if I had a typewriter or something. You know, and then mail them, you know, I mean, mail them to people, or, you know, if we were all in person, you know, if we had like a league at work or something, I'd, you know, give them to people on Monday morning, maybe. You know, and now when the internet came along, that really blew up everything, because it made it so easy for people to play, and you could go online, make your own moves, and then initially you would still get reports in the mail so for football, the week would be over on Sunday or Monday night, and you get report in the mail Thursday or Friday. But now, when, you know, with the internet, and you can get stats are updated in real time. You know, if you're in a fantasy football league, fantasy baseball, whatever, you can go online and your stats are updated like seconds after something happens on the field.
Sam, could you imagine if in our league you had to go through all of that stuff because you were the commissioner?
Oh, I would have burned something. You would have seen on the 12 o'clock news, arson.
Once again, this is his book, The History of Fantasy Sports, and the stories of the people who made it happen. You can get this at most major booksellers. Amazon has all the reviews. If you do pick it up, make sure to leave a 5-star review on there. All right.
Tell everybody you know who likes fantasy.
Yes. So I have a weird thing that I wanted to kind of do with you guys. I don't know if you guys are going to buy it. I'll read the book, and then I'll give it to Jeremy. Jeremy, you can read it, and then we'll mail it to Sam.
Cool.
So my boss at work came up with this idea. He has a book. We're doing all of this, where you go, you send it around, and you mail the, and then everybody writes like notes in it, so we can kind of see what the other person thought.
That is a cool idea. I like that.
You sure you want to see what I think?
Yeah, I always want to see what you think.
Jeremy, I think people come here.
And then once all of us read it, we'll go back on the podcast and talk about exactly what we thought about the book and give it another plug. Sound good? And then I'll read everybody's notes.
Yeah. Fantasy baseball. That's what we'll do next.
Shit. All right. You can find Larry on Twitter, guys. It is at Larry. How do you pronounce your last name?
Schechter.
I just wanted to make sure. Yep, because I'm horrible with names.
Wait, Fantasy Congress. When are we doing our Fantasy Congress League?
I'm not doing it unless we can vote on how many times they get arrested. I'm not doing it. I need arrested for harassment, 3 points. Drugs, 3 points. Domestic
Insider
abuse,
trading, 10 points.
Exactly. Running from the cops. The congressman that got caught smoking crack in his car by the cops, 20 points.
I think that's an instant win.
Right. Well, you see, you got a good idea, so you can start your own fantasy congress and make those changes.
Yeah, see?
That's like
we could be innovators right now.
My book is full of stories of entrepreneurs who created all the stuff that exists now. So it's like, they would, like years ago, somebody would say, wow, this fantasy football thing is great, but there's no information. Let's start a magazine.
Yep.
And then somebody else would say, well, there's hardly any magazines out there. Let's start another one. They saw something that either didn't exist or it existed, but they thought they could do better.
You ready? Give me like 2 seconds.
So it's like, Fantasy Congress exists, but you got an idea to make it better. So now you start your own Fantasy Congress and blow the other one out of the water.
Could you imagine that?
You would have cleaned up with Menendez from New Jersey, just got sentenced to 12 years in jail. You would have cleaned up with him.
Yeah, exactly. That's the type of stuff that I wanted.
He would have led you to the Fantasy Congress Championship all by himself.
All right. I got this. You ready? We're going to be the innovators right now. Fantasy competitive eating.
There's no more Joey Chestnut.
So what? That makes it fair for everybody if Joey Chestnut's retired.
No, yeah, that's true. That is true. Because you have, what is his name? Kobashi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy.
Oh my God. I'll talk about that later. Weird.
Yeah, we'll talk about this. We'll put a pin in that and revisit this next week.
Well, I always said stupid stats to you guys, like how a team that loses to Kirk Cousins in the regular season never wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah. We'll
I got some Joey Chestnut ones for you.
Yeah, we'll definitely sit it. All right, Jeremy, whenever you're ready, go ahead and take us out.
Put me in, coach.
Peace.